This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to lockdown coverage week number 8 in the National Football League. Atlanta Falcons on the road taking on the Jets. A lot of games on the East Coast were affected by the inclement weather. Redskins, Cowboys, Bills, Raiders, Eagles, 49ers. No game, I think, was more impacted by the weather, though, than this one here. It was a steady downpour throughout, and I'd say from late first all the way through the second quarter, it was a monsoon, essentially, and visibility was limited, and I thought that some of the catches made in this game by some of these receivers, just outstanding. When you're talking about the elements, because if you've ever been a receiver at any level, it doesn't matter, and you've ever worn any of those sticky tack gloves, you know that they are rendered useless in wet weather. You know, just a little bit of moisture and they're dangerous. But if you get them soaked, they are useless. They make the ball more so slippery than it already is. Guys are snatching the football out of the air still. Yeah, there were some drops. Yeah, there were some fumbles, a lot of fumbles. 4 between the two teams, 3 by the Falcons. The Falcons lost 2 of them. But this was a good football game. And credit must be given to both of these teams for playing, dealing, and excelling in these elements. I thought both teams handled the rain very well, despite the mistakes. There were some really good plays made by both teams in this inclement weather. And for the Falcons, boy, you needed this one bad. Bad, I tell you. You could not have afforded to have lost your 4th straight game, to drop to under 500 on the season, and having a huge game on the road against Carolina next week. You didn't want to go in there with a bad taste in your mouth like this, and a 4-game skid. It wouldn't have been conducive to you finding a way to win that game. And this is a good Falcons football team. Make no mistake about it. But you couldn't afford to drop your 4th straight to the AFC East and be swept by that entire division. It wouldn't have been a good look for you. You had to have it. By hook or by crook, you needed to get this one, and you did. That was big. For the Jets, they continue to compete their asses off. They continue to go out and play hard for Todd Bowles, who I stay steadfast to the fact that he needs at least one first-place vote for Coach of the Year. No, he shouldn't win it. No, he will not win. But should he get a first-place vote? Yes, he should. And what I'm starting to slowly realize is that this Jets team has more talent than we were giving them credit for, and I'll talk about that when we get to the Jets. But first, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game. Want you to help us do that by simply hitting the subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I've got a number of social media platforms that I'm a part of. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's YouTube. All of the links to those different social media platforms of mine down in the description below. Click on those links, follow me, like my pages, and make sure you turn on those notifications, as that will keep you in tune to what's going on. When I go live, you'll know. So if you can join me and you want to join me, you can join me live and comment and chop it up with me on one of my various programs here on the Louie T Network. If you're out there watching this right now and you want your comment to be read on the air, use the hashtag Louie T Live. As long as it's pertinent to the topic of discussion, I feel free to knock yourself out. I'll be glad to answer and converse back and forth with you about this game or any other game for that matter if we have time. So use the hashtag Louie T Live. to have your comment read on the air. And finally, if you want to donate, if you are generous enough, if you are capable of donating to this channel to help further this channel along, please, by all means, do so. Here are the two ways that you can do it. Via Patreon or PayPal. Those links that you see before you are also both down in the description below this video in all of my videos that I do. So please check that out. And if you can, I ask that you do donate to the Louie T Network. That being said, let's break this game down, talk about the winners first, that being the Atlanta Falcons with a 25-20 victory over the Jets in a rain-soaked, rain-filled Jets stadium. Really good ball game, though. And it was close throughout. A number of different lead changes in this ball game. Let's start with this Falcons offense, because I think a lot of people have been disappointed with the Falcons' output offensively. I think that was one of the biggest topics of discussion after the loss to the Patriots, was the lack of offensive productivity. And, you know, when you change coordinators and the new guy comes in and things kind of, you know, there's a little bit of a drop-off, obviously that's the first place you point. You know, everybody points the finger at Sark and says, oh, Sark's not doing a good job. You know, where's the numbers? Where's the productivity? Where's the points? I think it's just a little bit of getting used to a new play caller, new plays being called, and how guys are being used. And once they make that adjustment, and it may take a whole entire year. Remember, this offense wasn't great under Kyle Shanahan the first year. It wasn't until the second year under Shanahan they really flourished and took off. So time needs to be given to Steve Sarkisian to get this thing right. And I still think this is a really explosive and dynamic Falcons offense. But it's going to take some time for them to figure out exactly what Sark is doing and how they can get all of their playmakers involved adequately, how they can maximize some of the matchups that they have. For me, I would have liked to have seen him take a lot of the concepts left by Shanahan and implement some of those into his play calling. But, I mean, in any event, I thought this was one of the better performances I saw from the Falcons offense since week 2 versus the Packers. You saw a dynamic run game with Coleman. I thought Coleman was outstanding in this game, had a big run to help this team get down there and score. You saw a dynamic passing game at times. The deep ball to Julio was outstanding. Because remember, that was at a point in this game where the Falcons had been pinned deep in their own territory, and they had to punt, and then the defense was able to come out, get a huge stop for a sack, and knock the Jets out of field goal range. They punt the ball again, and this time they weren't able to pin the Falcons. It went into the end zone, so they got the football at the 20. And it was like it's like they got a breath of fresh air. We can relax. Now we can take a shot down the field. And wouldn't you know it, boom, they take a shot, and Julio delivers. And it was a great throw by Matt Ryan in the rain, great catch by Julio in the rain. And that led to points. So I thought offensively they did some really good things. I thought Mohamed Sanu, check, 1-2, 1-2. Guess who? Mohamed Sanu. I thought he was outstanding in this game. And, man, when he's not in the lineup, you can tell the difference because he's huge for you. And that catch in the end zone, that go-ahead score, come on, man. In the rain, bruh? Seriously? That's what you're doing in the rain? Away from the body? I wasn't even mad when he caught that football and he looked down at that Jets receiver. Like, and what? Get out of here with your nonsense, boy. You see that catch? You see that catch? I wasn't even mad at him. I was like, man, talk your shit, Muhammad. Talk your shit, man. After you make a grab like that over a defender and he falls down and you look down like, yeah, I did that. Talk your shit, man. You deserve to. He was outstanding in this game. He was huge. He made some critical catches, none bigger than the one in the end zone. Wow. He was outstanding. I think as a whole, offensively, yeah, you would have liked to see more points scored by the Falcons, but they turned it over. They made mistakes in this game. They had trouble snapping the football because of the wet weather. But I thought this was one of their better offensive showings since week 2 versus the Packers. I thought Matt Ryan at times was really sharp in this game. I thought that the run game looked good. You got contributions from Hooper. You got contributions from Julio, contributions from Mohamed Sanu. Like I said, the run game looked good. I was pleased with what I saw out of this Falcons bunch offensively. And I thought it was their consistency, despite the turnovers, despite the wet ball. It was their consistency offensively that helped them get through this game and win. You look at it from the defensive side of things. I thought the defense, after an early rough start, got it going. They gave up an opening drive to the Jets right down the field for a touchdown. And after that, they cleaned it up. And I'm looking at this defense. Tack McKinley's getting better. He got a sack in this game. Thought he was harassing the quarterback. I thought he was good in the run game as well. The pass rush as a whole starting to get better. And some of that was the weather. Some of it was the Jets' offensive line. But some of it is just these guys are getting better up front. And I think that's something that the Falcons are going to be able to lean on as this season progresses. I love the athleticism of this defense, though. I love the physicality. I told you this is a really good defense. And they're still coming into their own. And I think Trufant gives you legitimacy in the secondary. Now with him and Alford, it's all about that front seven maturing. As that front seven continues to mature, this defense is going to mature. And when that front seven hits their peak, this is going to be a dangerous Atlanta Falcons defense. When they start getting consistent pressure on the quarterback, when their linebackers start understanding zone concepts and drops and start pattern matching, they're going to be a danger because they can run with anybody's tight end, anybody's running back out of the backfield. They can key eyes of the quarterback. They've got exceptional range because of the athletes that they have in Deion Jones and the other LSU linebacker you drafted, Duke Riley and Devondre Campbell. There's so much range that those guys have because of how athletic they are. These guys can run sideline to sideline. And so if they can just start getting a feel for what teams are trying to do, it's going to be a dangerous Falcons defense. And they gave some things up in this game. I thought Robbie Anderson was outstanding. They gave up some things to ASJ, but at the end of the day, I thought it was a good defensive performance. And it was enough to win. And it was a win you desperately needed, and you went out and got. And one more shout out. God damn. Matt Bryan is Mr. Automatic. It just feels good. It's got to feel good to know. Doesn't matter the weather. Doesn't matter the distance. We send him out there. He's going to put it through the uprights. That kick, it was a big kick too. That kick before halftime, that field goal right before the half, the rain was coming. It was the sky had opened up. It was pouring. That whole operation of snap, hold, and kick, phenomenal. In that kind of rain, that was a monsoon at that point. Snap, hold, kick, that operation was flawless. Ask the Jets to go do that in that same weather. They wouldn't have been able to do it. Their kicker missed twice in this game. Kicker missed twice in this game. So, just knowing you got a guy that you can send out there, no matter the weather, no matter the distance, it's money. Look, that's gonna help you as this season progresses. Because you're gonna have to win a game by a field goal late. And it's good to know you got Matt Bryan going out there to do the kicking. And you got a kick return for a touchdown from Andre Roberts, but it was called back via penalty. Clean that up. He's gonna run one back for you this year. He's gonna run one back. Clean that up. He's gonna get one for you. So your special teams could be a difference maker at some point this season as well. But it was an all-around good win for this Falcons football team, despite the turnovers and the mistakes with the snaps and things of that nature. They found a way to get it done, and it was a big one. Had to have this one. As you go to the Jet side of things, another lost opportunity to win a football game. You know, you missed some kicks in the kicking game. I felt like you left some opportunities out there. That first fumble, Matt Ryan, center quarterback exchange, where you get prime field goal, field position, sudden change of possession. You got to get 7 there. You can't settle for a field goal. They did it again. And I don't even know if you got points out of that one. You might have missed the field goal. You might have got sacked and got knocked out of field goal range. You got to take advantage of these opportunities, man. You can't be leaving these opportunities out on the football field. You don't want to win. Josh McCown has been outstanding for you this year, man. Josh has been outstanding for you. And I stand corrected. Because I'll just make this one big Jets breakdown. I'm not going to break it down defense, offense. Just one big Jets conglomerate breakdown here. This team is a lot more talented than we gave them credit for. The move to go out and get Jermaine Kearse before the season started, genius. Pure genius on the part of your GM, Mike McCagnon. Pure genius. All right. He gives you a viable option at receiver opposite of Robbie Anderson, who is also really good. And you saw it in this game that whenever you find your franchise quarterback, and I don't think that guy's on the roster right now, but whenever you do find that guy, he's going to have weapons. ASJ has revived his career in New York. I think these are all the positions I think you need to concentrate on. After watching this game and watching some of the games you haven't been able to pull out, here are the four biggest needs of this football team. Quarterback, obviously, but McCown is playing well enough to where that's not an issue right now. But obviously, moving forward, that's going to be an issue. But let's take that out of the equation. Let's just go with the three biggest outside of quarterback, which is a given. Let's go with the three biggest positional upgrades that this team could use. One, running back. You know, McGuire is nice. He's not a number one every down back. Forte is in the twilight of his career. And Bilal Powell, to me, is a great change of pace number two back. You need a number one stud. You need a Leonard Fournette type. That'd be nice. But they don't grow on trees. And this team, I think, is going to be bad enough to be in a position to take, say, a Saquon Barkley. I'm just saying. I mean, I've said this for the last 3 years, and I've been right both years that I've said it. And now I'm saying it for a third straight year. There's going to be a top five back that's going to be available. There's going to be a team that could use that top five back, and that back can change your fortunes quickly. I said it with the Cowboys. I said, if you're the Cowboys and you get a top five pick with that offensive line, can you afford to pass on Ezekiel Elliott? A lot of people said, are you crazy? They need defensive help. I'm saying you can fix the defense by being better on offense. What have they done? I rest my case. Last year, I said, Jacksonville, if you got a chance to get your hands on Leonard Fournette, can you really afford to pass up that opportunity? Knowing that Blake Bortles can't win the game by himself, needs the aid of a run game. Can you afford to pass on Leonard Fournette? They didn't. Look what it's yielded them, along with a hell of a defense. But the run game has been paramount to their success. Now I'm saying the same thing with the Jets. You don't know who the hell your quarterback is going to be. But you're going to finish 4-12, 5-11 at best this season, right? You're going to be in the top 7. If Saquon Barkley's on the board, and let's say you end up with the 4th pick in the draft, and Saquon Barkley's on the board, can you afford to pass that up, knowing that you don't know who the hell your quarterback is going to be? Knowing that, yeah, you need a quarterback, but you also need a stable run game. I'd much rather go out and get the running back and figure out the quarterback position, especially if the quarterback, because you know, the 49ers and the Browns, the quarterback that you most likely love isn't going to be there by the time you get the pick. Because the Browns and the 49ers will take a quarterback next year unless one of them gets Kirk Cousins in free agency. So what I'm saying to you is you got an opportunity to add a back, which I think is one of your biggest needs, along with pass rusher. You need one game-changing edge rusher. You don't have that, and you need a corner. That whole D. Milliner experiment that failed miserably, that one hurts. It stings because you're supposed to have a lockdown corner right now because you spent a first-round pick on one, and you don't. That sucks. But that's the reality of the NFL. That's the nature of the business. It's hit or miss in the draft. You missed on D. Milliner. Now you need another number one corner. Mo Peterson or Mo Claiborne, not a number one corner. He's a good corner, not a number one corner. So you need a corner, an edge rusher, a running back. You got receivers. I like your receivers. And you drafted the kid out of Alabama that I think is going to be really solid for you. Darius Stewart. He's going to be good. I think he's going to be just fine as a possession receiver for you. You got stuff at receiver. ASJ at tight end. I think, didn't you have another dude? Tomlinson caught a touchdown in this game. Solid stuff at tight end. You got enough weapons at the skill positions. Now it's about going out, finding that quarterback, obviously, but the running back position and on defense, I love your safeties. And May and the kid you got out of LSU, I think they're studs. You're going to be just fine at safety. I love your linebackers. I think Darren Lee's a star in the making. Your D-line is solid. You just need an edge rusher and a corner. And this Jets defense all of a sudden will be one of the best in the league. And this team right now, the Jets team, not as bad as we thought. Like, I think their roster ineptitude and the deficiency of talent has been grossly overstated. I'm partly to blame for that because I was one of those people singing a song, oh, this is one of the worst rosters in football. I don't think that's the case. After watching these guys for these 8 weeks to start this season off, I'm not convinced that they're that bad. They're not that far away. With Jermaine Kearse and Robbie Anderson and Ardarius Stewart, you're not that far away. With ASJ at tight end, you're just a couple pieces away from this Jets team turning things around. And I love Todd Bowles. Don't you dare fire him. Give him an opportunity to get a quarterback and some more pieces in here and see what he does. Because if he can get that out of this, that man's dangerous. But in any event, it wasn't good enough in this game. You had opportunities. You just didn't get it done. Falcons do 25-20. And they go to 4-3, snap the 3-game skid that they were on. Jets, 2-game losing streak now. After being 3-3 on the season, they've lost 2 straight, and they're now 3-5 with this loss. Let's get to any comments that may be out there. Pepe, the YouTuber, says, these Falcons are suspect, but I think they might get it together later on, but we'll never know with the way the season has been. I think this Falcons team is going to be just fine. They're still figuring out some things. They got a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. It takes time to figure these things out. They're going to be fine, I think. LL says, I'm glad we won, but I don't trust this team to go to the playoffs this year. We're going to see. It's a little rocky right now. And I said one of those, between the Saints, Panthers, and Falcons, one of those teams is going to fall off. Could be this Falcons team. Could be the Panthers. It could be the Saints for all we know. But one of those teams is going to drop off. Sergeant Spooner says, this is the best the Falcons have looked all season. Sark had a good flow to the offense. Quinn was active with calling the defense. And the deep line finally got pressure on the QB. I said that this was the best you've looked since week 2 versus the Packers. I think that Packers win was an all-around good win for your football team. This matched that. And then you throw in the elements, the inclement weather, and I thought it was a really good showing by this Falcons football team. And I agree with you. I thought Sark and the balance and the flow and rhythm of the offense was outstanding. And I thought the D-line got tremendous pressure in this game. So I would definitely agree with you there as well. Cloud says, Atlanta went 1-3 in the weak AFC East division. I definitely don't trust them to make the playoffs. The only one of those losses that I look at, well, 2 of them really, but the ones that stick out are the Bills and Dolphins losses at home. They were winning in both of those games and made mistakes to cost them those games. You can't lose those games at home, but it happens sometimes. LL says, rate the Falcons defense on a scale of 1 to 10. I think they're around a 6 right now with the potential to get to an 8 this season. I think this is a really good unit. And right now I think they're a 5 or a 6. I'm going to go with a solid 6. And if they can get consistent pressure on the quarterback, I think they can get to an 8 before the season's done. Michael Thompson says, Falcons, Carolina, who you got? You'll find out on Wednesday on my Winners and Losers program. Tune in for that, and you'll find out then who I've got winning that football game. In any event, Falcons get it done 25-20 over the Jets in a much-needed win in a monsoon at times. Very inclement weather. Like I said, on the East Coast, a lot of games were affected by the rain. Redskins, Cowboys, Eagles, 49ers, Bills, Raiders. I don't think a game was more affected by the rain than this one here in New York with the Jets and Falcons, and the Falcons somehow overcame the elements. Robbie Anderson with a hell of a catch in the rain on a deep ball. Mohamed Sanu with a hell of a stab in the end zone for the game winner. Outstanding game, though. Really good game to watch as the Falcons pull it out late and snap their 3-game skid and get back over 500 at 4-3 on the season, heading into a huge NFC South matchup. A little bit of family business to attend to with the Carolina Panthers on the road. That should be a good one. Jets, meanwhile, have lost 2 straight after winning 3 straight. After losing 3 straight to start the season, then winning 3 straight to get back to 500. They've now lost 2 straight to drop 2 games under 500 at 3-5. That's going to do it for your man Louie T here on Lockdown Coverage. I've got one more game to come, the best game of Week 8 thus far. We've got one more to go on Monday night in some AFC West family business. But I don't know. It's going to be pretty tough to top what we saw out in the Pacific Northwest between the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks. That one's coming up next. That one was a dandy. Can't wait to break it down. I'll be back in a second. Don't you go anywhere. More lockdown coverage to come. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. I'll be right back in a second.